The city of Toronto is being asked to allow cannabis lounges when pot is legalized.
First stop for the people behind the idea is a meeting of the Licensing and Standards Committee being held today. CTV's Janice Golding is standing by live at City Hall. Janice.
Andrea, this is an issue that's going to predominate here today at City Hall. Cannabis lounges, some of which have existed in the city for close to 2 decades, are asking for the right to exist legally. And so they're going to be speaking to the city's Licensing and Standards Committee today to ask them for support. Now, as we all know, the federal government is set to legalize marijuana next year, but the provincial rules limit marijuana use to the privacy of a person's home. Cannabis industry advocates argue that's not acceptable, given many rental units do not permit smoking of any sort, saying restricting marijuana use to private property might work in rural communities, but not in urban settings like Toronto. They argue alcohol is more harmful than cannabis, and yet people are permitted to drink in licensed establishments, which is why lounges say they should be licensed as well.
So what we're actually asking the city is to regulate cannabis like alcohol. If we're going to have the AGCO, as the Attorney General has said, regulating cannabis, then what we'd like is to see a dialogue with the city and with the province in terms of creating diverse licensing for these businesses. So if we're going to regulate cannabis like alcohol, it means that we should also have bars, lounges, restaurants, bakeries, cafes, resorts.
Alcohol is proven to be associated with death, destruction, sexual assault, all sorts of horrific crimes alcohol contributes to. Cannabis does not. Cannabis is a safer choice, not only for medical users to choose instead of opioids, but for all of the consumers of alcohol, including alcoholics. It's far better for them to have a safe space with a safer option, and that's cannabis.
Now, the committee is going to be considering staff recommendations on cannabis legalization today. Some of the recommendations are expected to include supporting government-run dispensaries, as well as asking for more money to enforce the closure of illegal pot dispensaries currently. Reporting live, I'm Janice Golding. Now back to Andrea.